Hello, 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 beautiful people. How are you today? Today is another episode of Relaxed and Raunchy Relationships with a new guest. I have the pleasure to be accompanied by this guest, Maria Micallef, property consultant from Property Investment Store. So Maria has a wealth of experience in sales and marketing, and at the core of all she does is this desire to help people create a successful income stream. Now, more than ever, passive income is incredibly important. Of course, with the lockdown, people losing business, people losing their jobs, like, what the bloody hell should we do? And she thinks through wise investments in property, much needed cash flow can help offset losses and reductions in salaries and wages. And in her downtime, she loves running for physical fitness. Oh my God, I wish I love running, but no, I don't. I used to say that, oh, my exercise is just pushing pram. Now I don't push pram anymore, so it doesn't work. And she loves performing on stage to unleash her creative side. She's married, a mother of 2 kids, and strives to squeeze every minute of every day to make it count. Wonderful. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you, Ingrid. What an absolute pleasure to be here today. And let me just introduce the fabulous Ingrid Galloway, who I actually met through a wonderful dynamic networking group. And we've had some private conversations that really just show how much she really suits the industry she's involved in. She's the founder and relationship coach and the Chief Relaxation Officer of KAHYANGAN. I really hope I said that right, KAHYANGAN, which means heaven. And that's a wellness clinic. How do I say it?
KAHYANGAN.
KAHYANGAN, much nicer. And it means heaven, which is even more lovely, right? Because that's what we can experience at her wellness clinic in Sydney. She's been a relationship coach for 11 years and a spa therapist for 21 years. Ooh, nice. In the 5-star hotel Day Spas in Sydney. And she's used to looking after thousands of highly stressed clients from all over the world as a result. So she practices from KAHYANGAN in 5 Dock and from clients' homes, offices and hotel rooms and online. Perfect for the situation we're in now. And her work is always focused on stress, relaxation and relationships. She has a wonderfully kind soul. She's always seeking to reach out and support the healing process for many stressed people, the broken, lonely-hearted singles, the stressed-out parents and loving couples that cross her path. And she does wonderful one-to-one coaching sessions, group workshops and wellness at work programs for companies to create better engagement and harmony for their team members as well as for individuals.
Ooh, thank you so much for your intro. Now, the reason why I connected with Maria and asked her to be my guest today is because, a lot of people lost a lot of things, but the thing is, a relationship can be quite stressful during the lockdown and beyond. And top 3 reason of breakups are infidelity, communication, and money. And I'm sure that Maria has a wealth of knowledge and can give sort of like support in the money situation through property, that is. Right. So, Maria, can I ask you, what is your why? Why is it that you do what you do?
Well, property has always been something that I've actually been interested in. And like many individuals out there, it's something that's tangible that you can touch and feel. And in everything that I've always done in recent years, it's really been about helping people attain wealth in other ways. Because I think, if anything, right, COVID has shown us that we can't just rely on a job. Jobs do not have the security they used to. And even people who've got wealth of experience and were doing really, really well, I've seen the rug literally pulled out from under them. So the beauty of what I do is it's focusing on another income source. And anyone who's got equity in their home can actually invest in something that's tangible and real, that they can touch and feel, that can provide a positive cash flow to them. So I love helping people get a bit of freedom and security through that, And I like doing it for myself, providing a legacy for my children. That's one of the biggest reasons I'm doing this. I love working in this industry because it's a means of helping my children, not only in the income that I can provide, but in the portfolios I can create for them. And as much as I like doing it for individuals, it's about helping them and it's about helping my kids as well. So as a mother, I know how important that is. And I think anything that can alleviate the stress of financial pressure is a good thing. And property is a rock solid thing amidst all the changes and things going on out there. And particularly with the NDIS focus that I do, it's less subject to what's going on out there when you know that you've got guaranteed income coming through an SDA property. So I'm quite passionate particularly about that, Ingrid, because an SDA property really does provide it's effectively a full-time income in what the investor receives, and it's not subject to a pandemic or a global financial crisis because it is in place on a bipartisan government level, fully funded. So that's a nice reassuring thing as well.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure. And what about you, Ingrid? You know, what really drives and motivates you to help people in this really intimate space that you work in?
Yes. So growing up, well, I was born in Indonesia, raised in Indonesia as well. And I came from a very religious, but dare I say, rather dysfunctional family. Everyone
Is there
has
any
baggage,
functional
right?
family out there, really?
Everyone has baggage, right? So
Right.
it took years for me to heal from that. And then when I moved to Australia to marry my first husband, well, we were married for 10 years and unfortunately it was an abusive relationship. So in the end, we lost everything. Like I lost my properties, I lost my furniture and lost everything material. But the good news is I gained me. You know, I got freedom, I got Ingrid back, and that's the best thing. So I love my ex-husband unconditionally. And the silver lining was I found my purpose. So I went back to college studying counseling and life coaching, and straight away I knew that I would be a coach, and I knew that my niche will be in relationship. So I can help others in similar sort of situation. Like I'm very passionate, compassionate to help others that are highly stressed, that may be, you know, brokenhearted, and maybe loving couples that, you know, they've been together for a while, but cracks start to appear, you know, pimples start to appear, boils start to appear. Because when you first get married, everything looks shiny and smooth. Yes, so marriage takes work. It's the same like business. If you don't work, it doesn't work. So yeah, that's my why.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing. I have just lost sound, Ingrid. I can't hear you. Now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, wonderful. Woo-hoo. So yeah, just the 3 tips on property investment, sort of like why we invest, you know, how we invest.
Okay, well, one of the things that's really important to keep in mind when investing in property is that to always remember that it is not an emotional decision. It needs to be treated as a business because ultimately it is generating income for you, and that's the sole intent. So it's not about what looks attractive or what's close to you and what's familiar. It's about looking at the true merits of that property, its location, its infrastructure, you know, looking at its growth potential and a few other factors that really will lend itself to you getting a good source of income. So it's really important to treat it like a business decision. That's one of the key things that I would say, because a lot of people do get emotionally attached.
Yeah.
And you know, we do have something called a property clock that does give you a feel for what's going on. So at the moment, for example, at the top of that clock, and what's really a great area to purchase in is the Sunshine Coast. So that's an area that's experiencing a lot of growth, and parts of southeast Queensland are. So whether you like it, whether you don't, again, it's all about looking at where you're going to get the best return.
Right.
Tip number 2, I would say, you know, do your research. Everyone has Google fingers, and that's terrific. But Google isn't always accurate, and often when it comes to making a purchase, if it's in the news, it's too late. Okay, it's done its dash, because the news are always a bit behind with that. So it's really important to source information from multiple areas. So by all means, have a look on the net, you know, talk to some different companies and get some different viewpoints. I think it's really important when you're going through the process of investing. It's risky doing it on your own. And I do recommend going through, whether it's a buyer's agent, a property investment company like us, go to an expert. And one of the things I look for is I actually ask some key questions of the people that I'm seeking advice from.
Yeah.
So it's not just about what they have to say, it's how do they operate? How many years experience do they have? Do they invest in the properties they recommend themselves? Are they really looking out for your interests as an investor? I know for a fact through my own research that a number of different operators, they take kickbacks and incentives. So that has me nervous instantly, because I'm like, well, are you recommending something that's truly of merit, or something that you know you're going to get a different financial gain from as well? So yeah, there are some key questions you should look at asking the people you're seeking advice from as well. So go and make sure you do your research online, in person, over the phone. It's very simple to just draw up a few key questions to ask different people to make an assessment on whether you believe you can work with them and trust what they have to offer as well. So that's tip number 2. And tip number 3, just quickly, if you know you've got a little bit of equity in your home, you'll be surprised to know that with as little as $50,000, $60,000 with expenses, you can invest in a new home and land package.
Wow.
And I know, and I don't know that many people are aware of that. And if you're nervous and you don't understand it, well, that's why you've got professionals who've been there, done it, and can advise you accordingly. Because one thing that always had me nervous was investing in a new property. I thought, oh my God, I never want to do that, because they just don't build property the way they used to, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not necessarily the case. If you're working with reliable, good builders, I mean, we're working with builders who built hotels like the Versace in Queensland. So they're publicly listed companies. So you know you're getting something of quality, and you'll definitely get some amazing tax breaks with a new property as well that you won't get with existing properties. So it's really worth looking and assessing where you're at with your equity in your own home, the equity that you may have saved through your hard yakka, and then making that money work for you. If your money is sitting dormant somewhere, make it work for you so you can get a nice return that you can actually build on. Because, you know, it starts with one, and you build a bit of equity in that property, and then you can start focusing on your second investment. And, you know, it's all just about time. The people who start sooner just have more as a result, but it's never too late to get in and explore that opportunity.
Wonderful. The time is right, people. The time is right.
It really is. Even with the pandemic, the property market is not going away. There's always somewhere worth investing in Australia. So true.
Yeah.
And what are some 3 valuable tips you can share with us, Ingrid?
Sure. Well, as I previously mentioned, you know, a lot of couples are struggling a little bit during the lockdown, and I guess beyond. So that's relating to anger. So I do recommend anger check-in. So check whether, you know, little annoyances here and there can lead to frustration, and then eventually lead to anger if you don't resolve it immediately. You know, anger is part of the roller coaster journey of relationship. But then, you know, this anger a lot of the time has the shame and guilt energy on it. So people don't want to talk about it. People just want to either brush it off, or they completely run from an angry person, right? But if we want to understand that person that is angry, may like, for example, your partner may be angry about something. Maybe their childhood has influenced them. So they observe maybe their parents, you know, quite explosive back then, or maybe their main caregivers during growing up, you know, they may be quite explosive. So they're just absorbing and observing during childhood, and they practice it now in their adulthood. Maybe their past adulthood experience, say at school they were bullied, at work, previous work they were bullied. So it scar them, and then now they're in the position of power, either a father or a mother, perhaps. Then now they are the powerful person. They can bully someone else. Sometimes they don't realize this. Yeah, it's not in their awareness that they end up bullying someone else because previously they were bullied. And maybe their inner child is throwing a tanty because this little person inside of us, parts of us, not being heard, not being validated enough. So that's a maybe. So you just need to check in, you know, which one is maybe the cause of this anger and frustration, right? Secondly, I suggest for you to communicate openly and calmly, find the relaxed time and space, and to minimize your partner to go to their nothing box. Typically, men love to go to their nothing box, whereas there's nothing in the head. And they go there frequently. And, you know, with great pleasure, especially if they don't like the topic that you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. If they're not interested, they just escape to their nothing box. So find, you know, a relaxed sort of like state and communicate openly and calmly. Yeah. And then the last one is to remove shame and guilt. I mentioned briefly about shame and guilt before. People tend to avoid talking about it, but then with the help of a professional person such as a relationship coach, healing this emotion and remove the shame and guilt associated with it will definitely sweeten and deepen your relationship. So those are my 3 tips.
Oh, I like them. That's really good. Awesome. Noted.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, people, time for us to have some fun and guessing through true and false statement from Maria. So Maria said that she has run the Sydney Morning Herald half marathon in 100 minutes. I think that's fast. And number 2, Maria has performed the role of Miss Adelaide, Guys and Dolls, twice 10 years apart. Oh,
both in my passions.
I know, because you love running and you love performing. I think the second one is correct because there may be more juicy story behind it. I think number 2.
Yes, it was very specific, number 2. I think that gave it away. But then so was 1, because so with me, it's really interesting because I, with the running, I actually did, my fastest time was 101 minutes. And either 101 or 102, I can't recall now. And I was so determined to come back and do it for 100, but then I've had some injuries. So I still have to knock that 100 over. But I was really in my peak. It was amazing. So even doing it in 101 minutes was delightful, and it was an extraordinary race. So I loved that. But when it came to Miss Adelaide, yes, when I first auditioned, I was in my 30s. And my goodness me, do we have a gorgeous little cast of hotbox dancers, let me tell you. It was a fabulous cast. And I went for either lead role. It could have been Sarah, who was more the soprano, or the ditzy, crazy Miss Adelaide, Misunderstood. So I got that, and then 10 years on, they were doing an anniversary performance and recast it, and of course I had to do it again, and I was in my 40s. So I was really thrilled that with that age difference, I was able to come back and do that role and also give it just a little bit more pathos, if you like, again. So yes, there's a song called Adelaide's Lament where I remember someone saying to me, oh my God, you almost had me crying when you did that song. So they could really feel that, you know, she's not just this ditzy young person on stage who's going through her middle crisis, whatever, and her husband not marrying her. She's really upset because her man won't commit. So that was just, again, it was another wonderful performance with an amazing cast. I've been blessed both times, loved both performances. Normally, Ingrid, you don't do it twice when you've had such an amazing experience, but with this particular group at Mossman Musical Society, it was win-win both times. It was just so rewarding.
Wonderful. I miss watching musicals, definitely. I love it.
I know.
Quite a few of them with my ex-husband. And the last one that I watched was Billy Elliot, because I actually massaged Billy.
Oh!
He was my client, and his mom and his dad as well. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, well, the good thing is that, you know, there are streaming some past performances, stage, Shakespeare and musicals online that you can access through YouTube. So, you know, it's been nice to at least get something accessible in that way while we're, you know, in COVID and in lockdown.
Yeah, really.
I do feel sorry for the performers out there with the arts, though. It's a really tough time for them.
Yes, I feel definitely.
Now, let's have a look, Miss Ingrid. So this one made me laugh, guys, when I had a read of this. So Ingrid's true or false. So clearly she's done more than one interview. So she's got a few of them lined up, I reckon. So which one's true? Ingrid's client thought she was going to kill him. Ingrid's client thought she was going to marry him. What extreme bipolar opposites we've got here. Is it kill or marry? Marry the man today. That's another Miss Adelaide song. Did they think? Look, I can't believe anyone would think you would kill them with the way that you talk. You're so nurturing and sweet and beautiful. It's got to be that they thought you were going to marry him.
You were incorrect.
Oh my God, really? Someone thought you were going to kill him?
Yes. So, well, quite a few clients back then were thinking that, you know, to ask me to marry them. They asked in a joking way, but I said, yeah, I'm already married. Thank you very much. But the first comment was true. So this was back then, 21 years ago, when I used to work at the Observatory Hotel of Dayswa. So this client from Singapore came in, booked in, and I introduced myself to him. Hello, Mr. I can't remember what's his name, such and such. My name is Ingrid. I'm your therapist for today. And he was just like, oh, you're Ingrid? I thought my therapist is going to be blonde, big, muscular, and she's going to kill me.
There's a little loophole there. They didn't see you.
And I said, well, I may be tiny, but I can kill you too.
Pack a punch. Love it. That's so funny. My goodness, it's a therapist. I don't know. Anyway, that's interesting.
Yeah, because, you know, when you are little, you know, people think that, you have no power, that's all right. You know, you may just give an airy-fairy massage. Well, not in my case.
Yeah, so I'm with you there. I'm not a very tall person, and we certainly do know how to be strong in many other ways, right, Ingrid?
Yes, cool.
It's not all about size. There you go.
Not about size. Don't touch us. So, Maria, what do you do to either relax or add raunchiness into your relationship?
Well, you know, I'm not that exciting, I guess. To relax, it's a form of relaxation for me is I guess doing things that create some sort of meditative thing. And it's really funny because I don't really like meditation as such,
Yeah.
but I do get in meditative states when I run. I think that's why I love it so much, because it creates a rhythm that is so relaxing and amazing that the mind is freed. You wonder and you get clarity like nothing else, which makes sense because when you're running, oxygen is traveling all through your body with the blood that's, you know, feeding into the muscles and going into every ounce of you. You're really creating an amazing circulatory experience, and your heart's really pumping as well. And then toxins are being released. There's so much that goes on when you're running. And so I just love when at some point sometimes what happens is my brain starts thinking and I get creative and I'm resolving issues or coming up with ideas. And then other times I'm just in such a zone that I even forget where I am, if you like. And I love it when that happens. Yeah. And then at the end of it, what I love is that it just makes me a saner, calmer person to be around. I just have that much more energy to give to my husband, to my family, to, you know, the duties that unfold. So often people say, I don't have time to do this. But the reality is when you do something on that cardio level that really lifts your spirit, and it might not be running, it might be something else, you suddenly are empowered and have this energy to do that much more and be twice as productive. So the time spent is gained in that vitality that's released soon after. So yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I'm all for mental health, better mental health. So cheers to you.
Thank you.
So thank you, beautiful people, for watching and listening to our collaboration together. I hope you learned a thing or two about, you know, how to invest in property, about how to strengthen your relationships. And if you want to know more about property investment, please connect with Maria. Maria, how can people connect with you?
Well, they can email me at maria@pistore.com.au. So P for Peter, I for Indigo, store like a shop.com.au.
Yeah.
And my details are actually even on our website. You can find it under Contact Us, which is www.propertyinvestmentstore.com.au. They can find my mobile number and ring me direct or inquire through there.
Wonderful. I will put the link on the comment on the post, and also if you would like to connect with me and ask about more relationship questions, you can go to my website www.kahyangan.com.au, and please like and subscribe my YouTube Ingrid Galloway.
Absolutely.
After this, that will be great. Well, thank you so much, people. I believe this is the perfect time to connect. You know, when we're in lockdown, the soul just scream connection, like real connection with real people. So don't lose that. So stay tuned, because next week I will come up with another guest, either local or global business owners, so we can support each other in these tough times. So keep well and lots of love. Thank you so much, Maria.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye, Ingrid.